Assalamu alaikum, girls. This is the second part of our lesson. We have talked about fertilization, sperm, eggs. We said that the cell is made up from mainly the nucleus. The chromosomes are inside the nucleus. Chromosomes are made up mainly from DNA. Small pieces of chromosomes will make the genes, and all these are called the genetic materials. They carry the information about the characteristics of each one of us, or of each creature. We started and we said there's something called diploid number and a haploid number. Diploid number is the number of chromosomes inside any body cell, and the haploid number is the number of chromosomes inside the sex cells, because they are half number of chromosomes in the body cells. Okay, and then we started with objective number 2. Figure out the genetic code in DNA. What is the genetic code? Look here. The diagram shows a plant cell. Where is most of the DNA found? Is it A, B, C, or D? For sure it is A, because A is the nucleus. Go back to the definition of the DNA. We said that DNA is deoxyribose nucleic acid. It's a chemical that make up genes and chromosomes. Remember the pizza? We said it is the ingredient, the DNA. If there's no DNA, there's no gene, there is no chromosomes. Okay, and you have to memorize the abbreviation, deoxyribose nucleic acid. Okay, now look here. The DNA, as you always know, it is made up from 2 strands, and they are helical. They are not straight. They are spiral, and also they are like a ladder. Now, these ladders, these are chemicals that are connected together. These molecules, in the middle of DNA that make the shape of the ladder, these are called bases. And the bases, there are 4 types of bases. What are bases? They are molecules that let the 2 strands of DNA to connect together. Okay, now there are 4 types of bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. Again, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, and they are always abbreviated by according to the first letter, A, T, G, C. Okay, now scientists, when they analyzed the DNA, they found out that always adenine in one strand found to be connected with thymine in another strand, and guanine in one strand will always connect to cytosine in the other strand. For example, G in this strand should be connected to C, guanine with cytosine. Okay, طيب. Now C will be connected to G. Okay, C, G, cytosine with guanine. طيب. If it was A, then the other base in the other complementary strand will be T, which is thymine. طيب. If it was thymine, then it will be adenine, and so on. Yani, they figure out that these 2 strands they complete one another. If they find out what is the sequence of the bases in one strand, they will get to know the sequence in the other strand. Okay, so these molecules are called bases. There are 4 molecules, there are 4 bases: adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. Always adenine combines with thymine, and guanine combines with cytosine. Right, find the sequence, complete the sequence. If there is one strand of DNA that has this sequence, I want you to complete the sequence in the other strand of DNA. The other strand will have just the opposite of the first strand. So T, it will bind with A, and then T, and then G, 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 T, A, C, A, T, T, G, T, A, T, DGAGT. This is called the genetic code. This is called the genetic code. Okay, the sequence of the bases in the DNA is called the genetic code. Now, your body needs this genetic code inside the cells to manufacture a lot of proteins. You know that the enzymes in your body are made up from proteins. Enzymes, your body need the enzyme to make reactions faster. It is a catalyst. إيش يعني catalyst؟ يعني عامل مساعد. It helps the reactions to happen in a faster way. So the genetic code is used to make enzymes, which are types of proteins. Also, they are made to make the antibodies. Your body makes antibodies. What are the antibodies? Antibodies are produced in the blood, especially in the plasma of the blood, and they are produced in the immune system to fight the germs or the pathogen like viruses and bacteria. So also they need a specific genetic code to be made in the cell. Also the transmitters, the cells, remember the neurotransmitters. Now these neurotransmitters, they have receptors in another cell. They have receptors to receive the neurotransmitters. These receptors are made up mainly from proteins, and these proteins are made by the genetic code of DNA. So your cell needs the genetic code to produce lots of proteins such as enzymes, antibodies, and the receptors of the neurotransmitters. Okay, now let us find out. You have haploid, diploid, base, and genetic code. A cell that contains two sets of chromosomes, two sets, the pair number, this is called diploid number of chromosomes. A subunit of DNA, of which there are 4 ACGT, 4 bases. The order of bases forms the genetic code. What is this subunit? The base. The sequence of bases along the type of DNA, this is the genetic code. And a cell that contains one set of chromosome, this is a haploid number of chromosomes. Now look at these two characteristics, one brown eye with another blue eye. You know that our characteristics are controlled by the genes, or mainly by the chromosomes, and you know that chromosomes are always aligned in pairs, and for each characteristic, one characteristic, it is controlled by 2 genes. 2 genes for your eye color, another 2 genes for your skin color, another 2 genes for your hair type, another 2 genes for your height. So your chromosomes are made up from small genes. These genes are they control the characteristics in the body, and each one character in the body is controlled by 2 genes. Now look here. Now, scientists found out for each gene, there are 2 types of genes. A gene that is called dominant gene and a gene that is called recessive gene. The dominant gene is a strong gene, and the recessive gene is a weak gene. Now, suppose that your brown eyes we said they are controlled by 2 genes. Suppose that the dominant genes for brown eyes is B capital. It is capital because the dominant is strong. And the gene, the weak gene of the eye, the color of the eye, it is the recessive one. They named it B small because it is weak. It can be hidden by the dominant if the dominant is there. Anyone on earth that has brown eyes, they can have two genes, either B capital B small, يعني one dominant with one recessive, or B capital B capital, both of them are dominant. Okay? Now, if you know B small is for blue eyes, we said it is weak. If the weak combines with the strong, the dominant will hide the effect of the recessive gene. Okay? So as you can see, for the eye color characteristic, there are different forms of genes. Strong, weak, they can also two recessive genes together. Now these different forms of one gene, we are still talking about the eye color, the genes for the eye color. Now these different forms of genes are called alleles. They are called alleles. Okay? إيش يعني alleles؟ يعني different forms of the same gene. هلا, how many genes for each characteristics? We said there are 2 copies of each chromosomes in the nucleus for each characteristic. Okay, so it's 2. This is the chromosomes. They are made up from genes. Now these genes are different forms for one characteristic. What are they called? They are called alleles. Okay, for today's lesson, I want you only to know what is recessive, what is dominant, what is an allele. A type of gene that will always show up, yani if it's there in the chromosome, it will always show up because it's strong, it is called dominant gene. Okay, a type of gene that will not show up unless there are 2 copies, هذا نسميه recessive gene. Different forms for the same genes, حكينا these are alleles. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you.